now that we've been able to make a little bit more of a customized level, and I hope you have more content than I do here so that you have some more space to move around in, let's start to play a bit with time as well. And I'm going to use some lighting system to do this, although you can attach timers to all sorts of things. I just want to give you some examples of how you can use tools and then let your imagination guide you into how you want to use them for your custom design ideas. To follow along with this, I'd like you to dive into your script folder and import into your scripts the light timer script so that you have this available in your project. And it might pop out in front of you here, but we'll take a look at this in a moment. What I want to do for now is think about having my directional light, which is this sun up here, move so that it is, well, much darker in my scene. Let's not make it perfectly pitch black for now, but I want to have it actually, well, pitch black would actually be a good thing. You won't see it being perfectly pitch black. There's a bit of extra light shown in the editor so that you can kind of see things a little bit here, but that fully sunset look is going to be kind of fun for the gameplay. I'll keep the sun up a little bit for now while we set some things in place. But what I want to do is I want to add a light into my scene. Let's add a spotlight and take the spotlight and we're going to move it to be kind of over top of this platform over here. The idea being that I want to create an experience for my player that's just a prototype one where they have a hard time figuring out where to go because of the light is really dark, but lights kind of flicker on and off on some timers to kind of unveil a bit more of the proper path. And so we'll just have it kind of go on here for now to reveal kind of the starting point of after this gap that might be hard for them to see in the dark. And so with the spotlight, what I'm able to do is kind of increase the range. So if I raise it a bit higher, see how it gets dimmer as I raise it higher because the light's kind of not as strong the further away that you get. By increasing the range, I allow it to be stronger sooner. So that's one of the ways to kind of expand the width of that as well. But I can also change the angle. So let's maybe have it illuminate like a nice little section of things here. And we can also play with the intensity to determine how bright things get. Let's have it be a nicely illuminated little section here. I think that looks pretty good to me. So this spotlight, we've already imported this timer. Let's attach it and see what we're working with here. A couple basic pieces of information, the timer light on length and the timer light off length. In this script, I've built functionality to be able to have a customized amount of time. So maybe you want to have it on for a long time and only off for a little bit. Or maybe the opposite, you want to make it really difficult. It only kind of turns on a very small amount of time. Let's go 1-3, just so we can kind of see this in action here. And now if I run my game, I should be able to see that, well, if I'm actually able to see it, there we go. The light turns on just ever so briefly and then turns off for a while, turns on for ever so briefly and then turns off for a while. And so if I actually go back into my scene view here to my directional light and actually make this -90 so that it's totally dark, I should be able to see that in my game view here, I'm a little bit lost with things overall. And actually, because of my camera being a little bit tough, it's tough to kind of figure out exactly where to look for that light overall. So maybe I should actually give some more hints to the players. Let's do so. Let's add a little bit more light for them to be able to work with to actually kind of get a sense of where they need to go here. So let's create another light. And why don't we have a point light in this case here? And I'm just gonna, in this case, move right where I want it, kind of over the staircase, go game object, align with view. And now I have this point light of whose intensity I can kind of turn up or down, kind of be this nice kind of ghostly silhouetting of the staircase to kind of let my player know that there's something that they can walk up. And now I have a better opportunity here to kind of get a sense of what I need to do. And so now as I go up here, I see that I don't know what to do. And oh, there's some light being scattered here. So if I jump over here, have I made it? The light's on. Okay, I'm here. And now, well, I don't know what else to do because there's no more lighting hints for the player. So you as the game designer would have to add some more content in here in terms of actually getting more light to be illuminating the pathway moving forward. I want to take a quick look at the script for a timer because you might want to be able to actually integrate some timers into other things. For example, you could have a timer placed on a wall for it to disappear and reappear on different timers, or maybe on a platform on the floor, or maybe a power-up, or many other things in the future in your game design. Let's pop up with this timer and take a quick look at what's happening. I provided some contact points or connections for information. Once again, the public ones are the ones I could see in Unity, and I can change inside of the Unity editor. Anything without public in front of it is only relevant and, well, changeable inside of the script itself. I'm doing something in this script called getComponentLight and setting it to a light object. In our previous scripting tutorial, we actually manually connected things ourselves. For example, if I had made this a public light instead of a new light and gone back into Unity, then I would have to actually manually connect my light, this spotlight, into this slot, or this light here into this slot. This means that I have to remember to actually manually connect it in my editor. I have a way around that in Unity, which is to take a reference to a new light that I don't actually have the ability to see inside of Unity and tell Unity to find it itself. So in the start method, which is the place that runs as soon as this light timer is created, I'm actually going to ask Unity, hey, I want you to get a component. Remember, these things in the inspector are called components. I want you to find one of type light. And it'll search this object. Is there anything in me that's a light? Here it is. And it will attach that light to the variable light that I can then work with to disable and enable based off of the type of timer that's running. So you are able to manually connect pieces of things to one another in Unity, and you're also able to connect them through script getComponent calls. So for those who are coders, you now have this ability as well to be able to access components through scripts. Really powerful. And for those of you who aren't going to focus on coding, at least you know why this light isn't appearing here, because I've just created this script in a bit of a different way to automatically snag it rather than manually do so. And when you allow things to be manually dragged versus automatically dragged or automatically found is a little bit of a stylistic choice at times, although there are situations where it will be strategically important to do one or the other. And I'll talk about those in some of our focus sections later on. For now, try to play around with setting the sun, getting some lights in place, and getting some timers up and running with them, maybe with different settings. Because of course, if I created a different light and moved it onto my other platform here, let's kind of have this shift over to the next platform that I need to kind of reach, or the next section here. Because it's a separate light, I'm able to change it to have a different value. Let's let this one be on much more than it's off to make it feel a little bit more fair to the player perhaps, or just to kind of change the dynamics of the gameplay. So let's see, let's get my view here to this platform and get up top here. And I have that far light that's on a lot. Okay, I know I need to get there, but how do I get there? Okay, this one that's closer. And now I can jump over here and all right, I'm there. And oh, gotta wait a sec. Maybe in your game, you'll have more lights off in the distance for me to kind of assess a pathway to keep on jumping through as we use light as a game mechanic alongside a timer.